What if I told you that the Montreal Canadiens front office is quietly panicking right now, not because they're desperate to win the Stanley Cup this season, but because they're desperately trying to survive it? Picture this. Injuries piling up like snow in a Quebec winter, key players sidelined, and a team that's won just one game in their last 7 attempts. Yet here's the kicker, they're still in the playoff race. So, the question burning in every Habs fan's mind tonight is this. Will Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton make the bold moves necessary to salvage this season? Or will they watch their roster crumble under the weight of injuries and missed opportunities? Let's be brutally honest here. The Montreal Canadiens are in a precarious position. And the recent wave of injuries has transformed what was already a challenging season into something resembling a medical emergency ward. Patrick Laine, Laine Dach, and Alex Newhook, 3 critical pieces of the offensive puzzle, are currently unavailable. These aren't role players we're talking about. These are the guys who were supposed to carry the offensive load, to create scoring chances, to be the difference makers when games get tight. The timing couldn't be worse. Just when the Canadiens need stability and consistency, they're forced to shuffle their lineup like a deck of cards in a high-stakes poker game. The result? A team that's managed just 1 victory in their last 7 outings. That's not a slump, that's a freefall. That's the kind of stretch that makes fans question everything: the coaching, the roster construction, the direction of the franchise itself. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite this nightmare scenario, Montreal remains in the mix for the Atlantic Division. Their record stands at 10 wins, 6 losses, and 3 overtime decisions. They're not out of it, not yet. And that's precisely why the front office is operating with such urgency right now. According to Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic, the Canadiens' management team has been working the phones long before these injuries struck. They weren't waiting for catastrophe to hit. They were already scouting, already making calls, already positioning themselves for potential moves. But here's the fascinating part. The injuries have accelerated what was already a deliberate search strategy. Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes have adopted what LeBrun describes as a dual-track approach. Translation, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. Yes, they've been hunting for a second-line center. That's been the long-standing priority. But now they're also actively exploring upgrades on the wing positions. They're keeping their options open. They're thinking creatively. They're willing to pivot if the right opportunity presents itself. This flexibility is actually a sign of intelligent management. Rather than tunnel vision on one specific player type, Montreal is saying, we need offensive firepower. Give us options. Show us what's available. It's the kind of approach that separates front offices that make impactful trades from those that miss opportunities entirely. Here's where the story takes a frustrating turn for Habs Nation. The Canadiens reportedly pursued David Kampf, the veteran center and former Toronto Maple Leafs forward, only to watch him sign with the Vancouver Canucks last weekend. That's the kind of miss that stings. Kampf would have been a solid depth piece, experienced, reliable, exactly the type of player who could stabilize a roster in crisis. But this setback reveals a larger truth about the current trade market. There simply aren't many sellers out there. The standings are tight. Every team is competitive. Every team is thinking about their playoff positioning. The usual suspects who might be willing to part with talent, Calgary and St. Louis, are listening to offers, sure, but they're not exactly throwing open their doors. Take Nazem Kadri, for example. The Calgary Flames have made it clear Kadri is not available. Yet he would be perfect for Montreal. He's a legitimate second-line center with playoff experience and the ability to impact games in meaningful ways. But the Flames' front office isn't budging, at least not yet. LeBrun notes that this could change as the season progresses, but right now it's a dead end. Here's something crucial that often gets overlooked in these discussions. Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes are not treating this season as a Stanley Cup or bust scenario. They're not going to mortgage the future for a marginal playoff appearance. They're thinking bigger picture. Any trade they make needs to benefit Montreal both this season and beyond. That's the kind of long-term thinking that builds sustainable winners. This philosophy explains why they're not panic trading. Yes, the injuries are severe. Yes, the recent results have been disappointing. But they're not going to overpay for short-term relief if it means crippling the franchise's future. They're looking for moves that make sense on multiple timelines, deals that address immediate needs while also strengthening the core for years to come. What's particularly interesting is that LeBrun revealed the Canadiens were already exploring cheaper options and less drastic moves to fill gaps. They're not just thinking blockbuster trades. They're considering depth acquisitions, veteran pickups, and strategic roster adjustments that might not make headlines, but could make a real difference on the ice. The problem? With the standings so tight, there's simply not much inventory available. Teams aren't selling because they're still in contention. It's a buyer's market in reverse. There are plenty of buyers, but precious few sellers. The Canadiens face the Washington Capitals on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a crucial game, not because it determines their season, but because it's a chance to snap this losing streak and build some momentum heading into the trade deadline period. Every game matters now. Every win keeps them in the conversation. Every loss makes the front office's job harder. The pressure is mounting, the clock is ticking, and the decisions made over the next few weeks will define whether this season becomes a cautionary tale or a comeback story. The Montreal Canadiens are at a crossroads. They have the pieces to compete, but those pieces are currently broken. They have the management team capable of making smart moves, but the market isn't cooperating. They have the time to make adjustments, but that window is closing fast. The question isn't whether they can fix this season, it's whether they will and at what cost. This is where front office mettle is tested. This is where patience meets urgency. And this is where we'll find out if Gorton and Hughes have what it takes to navigate this storm. So here's what I want to know. Do you think the Canadiens should go all in and make a splash trade, or should they stick with their measured approach and trust the process? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear what you think the front office should do. And if you're as invested in this Habs story as I am, smash that like button and subscribe to stay locked in for all the latest updates as this situation unfolds. This season is far from over, folks. Let's see what happens next.